I bought a new van. Look how much space I've got. Look at this. I can't even touch the ceiling. I am really not going to know what to do with myself with all this space. And I've got so many plans for it. It's all a bit wet in here because there's no insulation or anything. The ceiling's been dripping. I've just had to wipe it down, so there's pretty much drips everywhere. So I ended up going for a long wheelbase, high top van. It's an L3, which means that it's not like a medium wheelbase, but it's not like a really long wheelbase. And it's an L3, which means that it's the really high roof. And because this van's front wheel drive, the floor's actually lower. It gives me a lot more ceiling height. But once I've insulated it and brought the floor up a little bit, then I'm gonna lose a lot of that space. Let's do a little comparison. The actual floor space up to the unit that I built to hold the battery comes to about 2 meters or 6.5 feet. Whereas this guy, is just shy of 3.5 meters, which is about 11 feet. And as far as the headroom goes, from floor to ceiling, it's just over 2 meters. Now I got some really big plans for this van. I just hope I can fit it all in. So let me explain my plans. Okay, so imagine this is the van. The plan is I'm going to put a bed here. Hang on, I think I can do better than this. This is the current layout of the van. One of the first things to do would be to remove the bulkhead and make the walls white. Across here will be my fixed bed. Next to my bed here, I'm going to put a little bench seat, followed by a kitchen with a lounge bench there and plenty of storage underneath the bed. Now I also want to be able to access the back garage, as they call it, or storage area, from inside the van. So I'm going to build a little pass-through under the bed. Around here is going to be roughly where the toilet's going to go, underneath a bench. Now I haven't decided yet whether the kitchen's going to have a fixed sink and a cooker, but if I do install it, it will make everything a lot easier. However, I will lose surface space. And the lounge seat that's going to be here is going to house the leisure battery and some storage. And finally, the bulkhead. This is getting ripped out, and the reason it's getting ripped out is because I want to put another curtain in so that I have full access to the front of the van, just in case I need to leave in a hurry. And that's pretty much it for the inside of the van. Now, outside, different story. Ugh. This is my 2017 Ford Transit. And there's a few reasons why I chose a Ford Transit as opposed to a Sprinter or a Crafter, and I'll get into that in a minute, but this van came a long way to be here. Now I actually had it delivered all the way from Halifax. And the only reason why, as I said in a previous video, it's really difficult to get any sort of decent form of van that's not either got loads of mileage on it or for a decent price down in Cornwall. So I had it delivered. Now I did make the cardinal sin of actually purchasing this van without actually physically seeing it, because if you go through a reputable dealer, which they were because I looked them up, you actually get a 14-day cancellation period. So I can get it delivered and then send it back if I'm not happy with it. But so far I'm over the moon. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of van for the money because I didn't pay above and beyond for the van. If I was looking at buying a Sprinter or a Crafter or anything like that, a van with this mileage on it, which is about 130,000, would have cost me near on 12 to 13, 14, 15,000, and I paid a hell of a lot less for this one. Now I did actually look at loads of these vans on the internet, and pretty much all of the ones that I saw were either beaten up, had really high mileage, or just didn't fit what I was looking for. Whereas this van, for a van that's 5 years old, that's done 130,000 miles, it's pretty straight. And I have driven it as well, but anything compared to my last van, it's gonna drive really well. And I've got a complete blank canvas with the roof. Now as you can see, the roof does have a few dents in it, but I am planning on putting a roof rack up here. So you're not going to see that anyway. And I can see there's a little bit of rust down at the front there, which I'll need to treat as well. But I am also planning to put in a roof fan, so the roof will get sorted when I do that. But all in all, pretty tidy. And another one of the key selling features of the Transit is that behind the ply lining, the panels actually come out, so you can comfortably sleep widthways. They reckon that the space between behind the ply is about 6 foot 3 inches. And as I'm a little bit vertically challenged, I should fit just fine. And as far as this goes, it's pretty tidy. You can normally judge a van really well by how torn up the seats are. And based on the smell in the back, and based on the fact that this van's only been owned by one company, I believe it was used to transport engine parts, because it smells like an engine in the back. As you would expect, it's got everything you need. 6-speed as well, like the old van. I've not tried out any of these sockets yet, but for worst case scenario, I'll just have to change them. I've got a lot of work to do anyway, so. Now, I've got quite a bit of work to do, so I guess I better crack on and start converting it.